Right? Good for now?
So what are we going to do? So
We're going to go in closed session.
Proclamations, and then we're going to do closed session.
Yep.
All right, and then we'll come back. They're on.
Good evening, everyone. This meeting is called to order at 6:10 today. This is the agenda for Municipal Council combined meeting of Tuesday, April 7th, beginning at 6:30. Will we all please rise to do the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilmember Brescher.
Here.
Councilmember Coyle.
Here.
Councilmember Dima. Here. Councilmember Kentos.
Here.
Councilmember Patel. Councilmember Batil. Councilmember Shmuel. Adequate notice
Adequate notice.
of this meeting is, as required by the Open Public Meeting Act, has been provided by the Annual News sent to Home News Tribune, the Star Ledger, Desi Talk, and on November 17th, 2025, and posted in the lobby Missile Complex on that same date.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I just want to, my three fellow colleagues who could not make it today through holiday and some conflicts, but they did reach out to me, each one of them, and say they can't make it. For those who are here for the first time, you get 4 minutes to speak, whether you're here for resolution or you're here as a participant. You're more than welcome to do that. I just also want to mention, for those who are attending for the first time, you're welcome. You may follow along the agenda, which we provide at the back table. You can see what's going on right in front of us. And if you have 4 minutes to speak for public comments on the resolutions and oral petition remarks, and remarks on the portion of the agenda. If you're watching from home for the first time, please visit edisonnj.gov, click on Departments, then Council, then select the Council agenda, so you can also follow us then. If you have any further questions or comments about this meeting, you can email me at jcoyle@edisonnj.gov. Thank you. Clerk, read resolution.
Whereas Fernando Avalon has concluded an extraordinary and distinguished wrestling career at Edison High School, leaving a lasting legacy of excellence, dedication, and sportsmanship. And whereas Fernando finishes his career at Edison High, second all-time winner with an impressive 143 victories. Whereas throughout his career, he achieved remarkable success, including earning 2 district titles and capturing 3 GMC county championships, twice being honored at the tournament Most Valuable Player. And he has represented Edison with pride on the state level, earning his first trip to the state tournament in Atlantic City. And whereas Fernando's compiled an outstanding overall record of 143 wins, 22 losses, including an astounding 109 pins, demonstrating both and determination on the mat. Fernando has become an inspiration to the Edison community, exempling what it means to represent one's hometown with honor, excellence, by becoming one of the greatest Edison wrestlers of all time. Now be resolved by the Municipal Council of Edison that we proudly recognize and congratulate Fernando Avalon for his remarkable achievements and contributions to Edison High School wrestling, and that we extend our best wishes to Fernando, better known as Nando, as he continues his academics and athletic career at Millersville University in Pennsylvania with confidence that he will achieve continued success.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. At this time, this resolution is open to the public for any comments. Open a resolution, motion to close the public portion?
Motion to close.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The public portion is closed. Can we have a motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt.
Second?
Second.
Okay, and then council comments. What's it?
Council President.
Do you want to?
Joe, don't you want to tell us about your wrestling career?
Well, I was gonna, I'm
and your
giving
wins and losses?
Listen, I mean, it's not all about me, okay? So I was going to refer to my distinguished senior, I'm sorry, not friend, senior council member, if he wanted to say a few words. And we'll do something down here as well.
Yes, listen, I'd like to congratulate you. I know it's a lot of hard work.
Can't hear you.
Turn the mic up. I'd like to congratulate you. I know it's a lot of hard work, and it's taken many, many years for you to get to this kind of level. And that does speak a lot about dedication. And I really have to thank your parents for being supportive, because I know that when this journey starts, they were probably an integral part of ferrying back and forth and up and down and all over the place. But it's good to see and see this in the town. And yes, my council colleague actually wasn't so bad at wrestling. I'll even give him that. It would have been nice if he would have wrestled for JP or something like his brother, but he went to Edison High too. But congratulations and all the success over at college. Thank you.
Any other council comments?
I'd just like to say congratulations. I know that it's no easy task, and congratulations in your future.
Any other council comments?
Yeah, just a big congratulations. Again, I don't want to repeat everything everybody said, but, it's tough. Being a wrestler is tough. I didn't make it as a wrestler, but congratulations, and good luck at college as well. Thank you.
I think as a council president, this is one of the first times we've had a chance to recognize any wrestler.
I think
Is that
so.
right? Any wrestler in the 11 years I've been on here. Marlene, Madam Clerk, right? Probably one of the first times. I'm sorry it's been that long. There's been a few people who've also done some great things. I'm truly thankful being a wrestler, being a part of a team. It meant so much to me. I think I decided to be involved in my senior year after skipping 2 years, and it was a great opportunity to be out there, not just to wrestle with a group of teammates, but also endure the endurance of being out there for 6 straight minutes. And if anybody has anything to say, we know, like, you can come from the football team all you want, but when you enter the wrestling mat, most of those guys were throwing up. And to achieve what you achieved, Fernando, is like unbelievable to get that far. Many of us in the audience, we went so far, but not that far. I mean, so many shoulda, woulda, couldas, but that doesn't mean anything. What means is you got there and you completed this, and it's a tremendous honor to your coaches, your family, everybody who watches, and you're an inspiration to others. For your life, you'll be protecting people, although most people don't know what talent you have, which is good, But it's really, truly wonderful. I think one of my colleagues said he'd take me outside one day, and it's not the guy to my right, but I said to myself, is he kidding me? But he was upset for just 30 seconds. I knew he was kidding. But I'm truly proud to see this happen. And I know it takes decades of time. I'm proud of our middle schools that are involved now, this breeding program, feeding program for each, to get you to high school where you know something on the mat. And we've dealt with some people knowing nothing day one. So I want to thank the coaches for having the patience to do this, because I don't know if I could start from ground zero with a high school person. That's a lot, when so many others have been at camps and have so much more competitive opportunity than you. But obviously this has come together. It's a truly great moment to see this happen. So we're going to come up. I'm going to invite the council to hand this resolution to you with the coaches, and we'll have you say a few words if you choose to. All going up? There's only 4 of us.
We didn't do roll call, Joe. Aaron, you forgot roll call.
That's what I said to him. When he did it, I said, you have to take the roll, and then he kept calling, like, whatever. I was like, okay.
Let's just say, let's do roll call.
No, I'll remind him.
You'll remind me.
I'll tell him he's got to do a roll call or just do an all in favor at that point. One to me, I don't really care.
2, 1, 2. Great. Again, we're here today honoring Fernando and his great wrestling abilities and what he's accomplished. Do you want to say a few words, Fernando, about your teammates, your coach, who's wonderful? I know you do. We don't give you a choice here, just so you know. And we have a back room, and there's 9 of us.
I'd just like to say thank you to my coaches, my coach behind me, and my brother over here, and my family for doing everything they can to support me, and to all my supporting cast and all my friends and family and everyone. Just like to say thank you.
Not a majority of the body that's there.
Congratulations. Right. Congratulations. Anybody else from the family want to say something? Their brother? Anybody? Dad wants to go ahead.
So I remember when he was born, and he was born here at JFK, Edison Hospital. And we weren't planning long-term to be here, but this is a great town to be in. And he's born and raised Edison, wrestled in middle school, played baseball for Edison Rec, wrestled for Edison Rec Wrestling. So he's been doing this. And he wants to be shy. And he's been doing this for like 12 to 15 years consistently, and no complaints, loving life, smiling all the way. They used to call him Smiley. Now, it's just Nando. But it was Smiley before, because he would wrestle and it'd be a full, full ear-to-ear smile. And it shows that if you nurture and you just let them have fun, kids will grow to be successful. That's what I want to say.
Thank you very much. Good to hear. Coach, you want to add a few words?
Just that he had an opportunity to wrestle at a lot of different schools in this day and age of private schools, and he stayed at Edison, and second all-time win leader of all time. So thanks for staying, and congratulations.
Oh, you want to get on?
Congratulations.
Try grabbing him.
Thank you. Tell me you never know. Born and raised in Edison. Kelly born and raised. Me and Kelly went to elementary school together. So you never know how things are going to be. You never know how it's going to turn out.
I think my office is trapped in the
Good to see you, sir.
We got to hit the next one. Okay. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilmember Brescher?
Yes.
Councilmember Dima?
Yes.
Councilmember Kentos?
Yes.
Council President Coyle?
Yes. One more, right? He's going to read resolution. Madam Clerk?
Whereas Jeremy Nygren has completed an outstanding wrestling career at Edison High School marked by perseverance, excellence, and relentless competitive spirit. And whereas Jeremy became the 4th winningest wrestler in Edison High history, amazing and exceptional total of 134 career victories. His career was highlighted by consistent success, including being a 2-time GMC finalist and a 3-time district finalist, demonstrating his dedication and growth as a competitor. And whereas Jeremy achieved his pinnacle of his high school career by earning a district championship and becoming Edison High School's first region champion in 11 years, while also qualifying for his first state tournament. Whereas he distinguished himself as one of the most dominant wrestlers in New Jersey history through his extraordinary pinning ability, recording 130 career pins, ranking him 13th in the New Jersey history to surpass 100 pins, and placing him 3rd on the New Jersey all-time pin list. And whereas Jeremy has represented Edison High in his community with pride, sportsmanship, leaving a legacy that will inspire future generations of student athletes. Now therefore be resolved that we proudly recognize and commend Jeremy Nigron for his remarkable achievements and lasting contributions to Edison High Wrestling. We extend our sincere congratulations and best wishes to Jeremy as he continues his academic and athletic career at Castleton University in Vermont with confidence in his continued success.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We're going to open up this resolution to the public. If anybody wants to make comments or contest his pins that they're true or not true, they're more than welcome. Good luck walking out of here, but seeing no comments, entertain a motion to close the public portion.
Motion to close.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Any council comments? Councilmember Brescher?
Well, I'm going to echo the same comment, but I'm just going to listen. Thank you and congratulations. And I give credit to the parents a lot of times.
Councilmember Dima?
Congratulations.
Councilmember Vice President Kentos?
Yeah, just congratulations and awesome record on the pins. And good luck wherever you go, whatever your next step is, college or wherever you're going. Good luck. Thank you.
Congratulations, Jeremy. I think I was at your 100th pin. Is that possible? Was it? Okay, I felt like that was a few days ago. I guess you had 9 more pins since then, but congratulations. Well, I guess entering into all the other competitions, you'd have a few more. Not as easily given, that's for sure. Congratulations again to your coaches, and a shout out to Scott Gerb and Jason. Scott, who is the coach of Edison High, who has just dedicated his life to this. And without having good coaches in your life, I'm sure, Jeremy, it just won't happen, having someone to push you and drive you further than you can. And I'm proud to know Scott and to know how dedicated he is about the job and how much time it is. And he's just so dedicated, and so is his family to help him out. I could never do that. I can only do a few jobs. This is one of them. But I'm proud that you have a good team leader and teammates. I'm proud of all the hard work you've done, running, endurance, timing. It's just unbelievable what you've achieved. And I can say more. I just don't want to drag it out. We've said a few things about others. But I did force my council colleagues to talk again, even though you both equally have a lot of the same qualities. And congratulations to you. And we're going to do Madam Clerk, roll call first.
I need a motion.
A motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Second.
Councilmember Brescher?
Yes.
Councilmember Dima?
Yes.
Councilmember Kentos?
Yes.
Council President Coyle?
Yes. And we're going to do a presentation. Same thing if the parents can come up, brothers, and the coaches again. Don't need that.
So now you can. I see you asked to read the resolution record. No, they're not. They always forget.
First, make sure you get my photo. We don't want
No,
to
no,
cheat
no.
anybody.
There's a
Mom's
resolution there,
important.
it's on the record.
Make sure if she's feeding
It
them.
goes in the minutes.
That's the point. It's-
Kent, why are you so far back? Come on.
Right.
Okay, 1, 2. Well, first, I just want to thank you, Jeremy, again. And if you'd like to say a few words. I'm like putting you on the spot, right?
Nah, I'd like to thank my family, especially my dad and my mom, because they're the one that pushed me and made me who I am today. And I'd like to thank my dad because he's the one that started me off on wrestling. He just asked me one day if I wanted to wrestle, and I said yeah. And he's been pushed me throughout my whole career. And every time I said I wanted to quit, he told me I have to give him a good reason to quit. I never was able to. So he was the one that kept pushing me, kept bringing me to different clubs, different competitions, different camps, and spending all that money, driving me everywhere. And I just thank him a lot.
Is it working? Yeah, thank you. Jason, do you want to come up? Sure, we can put you in the lineup. No problem. Just hop up.
I just wanted to say it was an honor seeing the career of both Jeremy and Nando the last 4 years. And it's so important to build traditions in Edison. Council President Coyle, I actually saw him wrestle in high school. I said, oh my God, look at this guy. Like, he was, Council President Coyle could really mix it up back in the day. But we had Joe Duhigg later, who was a state champion, come in. And we're hoping one day that these guys are former wrestlers. I expect it. They're going to come around. They're going to contribute and have words of wisdom. And that's how you really build a successful program, is having your former guys come back. And it was great when Joe came around this year, talked to the team a little bit, and understood what it took a little bit to get 100 pins and have accomplishments like that. So just it was great having these guys, and I look forward to seeing them for years to come.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Jason, appreciate it. Coach, where'd you go? Oh, there he is.
Thus ends the career of two of the most prolific wrestlers in the history of Edison High School, Fernando Avalon, Jeremy Negro.
Yeah, congratulations. I think about your father asking you to wrestle and how that changed so many other people's lives that got pinned. It's amazing, and thank you for asking. That doesn't always work out that way. And don't forget the both of you, Fernando, you and Jeremy, your leadership to the next people. The students are looking up to you. How you treat them is how they'll treat others. Don't forget where you came from. And thank you for sticking out with Edison High. The coach mentioned so many opportunities they get to go to another private school, and they are coming to steal our team. And you stuck it out. Thank you for caring about your team. It's emotionally so great to want to stick it out when you offered to go to St. Joe's or Bishop Bar. And they're not better schools than our public schools, I can tell you that. Again, congratulations. Kelly, you want to hold this again? We'll just do a quick photo up. Okay, Dad's here. Jason, can you straighten everybody out? All right. Put them up. How's my tie? Okay, great. Congrats. You keep this, I'm sorry. I'm sorry we don't have a fancy plaque. I think it's gonna save a lot of money. So much. You know, I've seen you before. That wasn't that good. Trust me. Okay, we're going to get back to our meeting for a second. I just got to set the record straight. I was a decent wrestler, but there were plenty of thin guys that threw me all over the place that didn't look like they knew much at all. And I went home scarred, burns on my face, but there are plenty of great accomplished wrestlers in Edison High School. I'm certainly happy to be above average. But in any case, moving to the meeting, for those who are here now, we have some important business on our schedule. We're going to go into a closed session. We're going to hope it will be for 15 minutes. For those who are here, you're more than welcome to stay. I don't recommend it, but if you have nothing to do, it's up to you, but you're more than welcome to stay. We're not throwing anybody out. I think Scott is buying pizza right now on him, or Jason, but anyway, thank you for your time. For the public who's watching at this moment, we're going to go into a closed session. What that means is more than 4 council members can sit in the back and speak to our attorney about business that needs to be private to discuss further with the public, and so we can better understand it as well. Okay, Madam Clerk, a motion to go into closed session.
Motion.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Okay, we're good, Joe.
We're good?
When you think
I don't need this anymore. I'll fill in for you later. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. We're having a motion to reconvene. Can I have a motion to reconvene this meeting after?
Motion to
closed session?
reconvene.
Second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, this meeting is reconvened at 7:06. We're going to move through this agenda. I want to revert back to Council President remarks. Okay, some of us are aware of the 12% increase of our Board of Education. I just want to make a comment. If any council members wanted to say something briefly, please rebrief us so we can go back to our meeting. Like so many other people, I am very concerned over the proposed 12% increase in the budget by the Edison Board of Education. Although, as Council President, I have no operational oversight or statutory authority over the school board budget. As a resident and a taxpayer, I am very concerned about this double-digit increase. What can I do, though? As have been here, is working through our state legislature, as well as our legislatures throughout the state, and strongly advocate for increase in funding for our school district budget. As the state goes through its budget and process, I will continue to advocate with the school district and teachers and parents and students. No one is happy about this 12% increase. I truly hope that this board sits down to crunch numbers to propose a much lower increase. And at this time, I leave my comment at that, and I'll refer to any colleagues that would like to say something.
Council President, I
Yes.
don't know. I was going to go to the school board meeting myself to ask the superintendent questions, because I don't know if everybody knows here, but for 20 years or 25 years, Edison was shortchanged by the state. When I was on the school board, I actually went through the funding formula, and we found that there were discrepancies where the state wasn't funding townships equally. So we all had our own funding formula, and the funding formula was fair and equal to everybody. But what they did was they gave Newark 110%, Edison got 20% of our funding formula, so it wasn't done fairly. And I haven't heard from anybody whether the state has went back to their old ways where Edison might be receiving 20% of their funding, and Woodbridge is getting 30% of their funding, and Newark is getting 100% of their funding. The funding formula is fair. I will tell you that. I went through that with the state, and it is a fair formula. But it's how the state pays it out. So I do plan on going there and seeing if they have that information, and see if they have Edison, East Brunswick, Woodbridge, Perth Amboy.
Thank you, Council President. Councilman Brescher, any other council members? Hearing none, we're just going to move forward with the meeting. I have the proposed ordinance 2279-2026. Any comments?
I have a quick question.
Yes.
So we don't have to, we're going to fund for 2025 in the resolution. We don't have to, all I want to make sure is we don't have to repeal the old ordinance. So how can I put this? Legally, do we have to pay the organizations that don't exist in the ordinance if we don't repeal the ordinance?
No.
Okay. There's an ordinance. There's an ordinance currently on the books that lists all these sports organizations. Obviously, we know some of them are defunct. I just don't want to pass a resolution that gives them defunct organizations money. That's not going to happen, right?
No, that actually quite the
yeah.
opposite.
Yeah, no, those organizations, one, haven't applied for anything. Thank God they don't exist anymore, so
Right.
that's always positive.
We don't have to repeal that ordinance that's in place.
No, and by the way, this proposal is not a repeal of the ordinance. It's a modification of the ordinance that's currently on the books, and it does exactly, one, it cleans up it takes away the list of organizations which makes sense when you consider that these organizations will probably go through name changes and will kind of come in and out of existence. But the resolution today, that's going to pay them under the ordinance as it currently is. And then this ordinance would propose changes that would take into effect for the next cycle.
Okay, right, when we approve, if we approve the resolution today, that $224,000 is going to distribute it, but we're under no obligation to legally give that to somebody that doesn't exist.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, I just don't want the money going to Ghost Town.
Yes.
Okay,
Fair enough.
that's all I had.
And just as a matter of process, they request it and they confirm through their roster, and that's how we add them to the list and then send the resolution for your approval.
Yeah, the new procedure, I was just making sure we didn't have to
Yeah,
pay
we've been
anybody
doing
out
that the
from
last
last year.
3 years
Okay,
at least. Yeah.
perfect.
Council President?
Yes, Council Pressure.
Yes, I know this for the youth sports, and I'm really big on supporting our youth, but I do have certain issues. We have a funding formula in place for the youth sports, right?
Correct. Well,
See, let me tell you the problem I have the way this is written. This just says that technically the administration can give money to youth organizations as long as there's funds available, right? And my problem with that is it shouldn't be up to just strictly the administration to say, you know, I love baseball, football, right? So we're going to give football $17 million stadium, and, you know, the wrestling kids got some T-shirts, right? It should be, like, there should be a formula in place, like I know we had one, and that formula should be part of this documentation. So that's number one that I think is missing here.
I think Councilman Brescher, I think we'd still have to pass it. Even if the administration had discretion, we'd still have to pass it and approve that particular.
Right, but here's the thing.
Wouldn't get past us.
The funding formula, right, shouldn't just be arbitrary and capricious, right? It should be a formula that has certain criteria that we're paying to the organizations so that it's done fairly. Whether you hate football, right, or you love baseball or whatever it is, we know that our children here will all be treated fairly and equally. And that's where I'm saying that funding formula, whatever it is, right, you were telling me you might want to modify it, and I don't have a problem modifying it, but that should be in here, okay, so that every organization knows. Now, let me tell you what my other problem that I have with this, and it's another very big problem. I noticed that we have things in here where we say we want 80% or 75% Edison residents, right? And that was a good thing to put in on certain organizations we had, but we didn't do that before. The way the funding formula was set up was that if you had I'm going to say like baseball, right? If you have baseball and baseball has 300 children and 100 children come from a touch-in, the township inside that funding formula, they were only paying per Edison residents that were part of their crew. So they wouldn't give them, Edison wouldn't be giving them money for the kids from a touch-in. So like you have things like, we have hockey, right? And there's not a lot of
Just a
people.
point of which, real quick, Councilman Brescher, we had a meeting recently, and first, I'm not extremely happy yet, but I'm going to introduce this. But the meeting we had with Council Vice President Kentos, and we'll see, went over, and there was some embarrassment of so many out-of-town people involved that this money could have been used in the past to fund out-of-town people. And the mayor and administration and this council is looking at formulas now that only include Edison residents.
Well,
That I can promise, and you'll see that in the
Council
chart.
President, I just want to correct you there because we made this, I made this, or I didn't make it, Ken made it, okay? And in Ken's thing, part of the thing that they were supposed to give you was the roster of Edison residents. That's why the Angels didn't get the money that they were supposed to get, because the Angels had like 2 kids from Edison and the other 28 kids were from another town. So that was taken care of inside that funding formula. But that formula is not here in this. And this is a giant mistake to pass this the way it is. This reminds me of we had something that came up, and I was promised, right, and then it didn't happen. We had a promotional criteria, I think it was, for police and fire. And there were certain things. There was testing required, I don't know exactly what it was. And what I was told was we had to repeal that. And upon repealing it, we were going to come up with a new criteria. Well, here I sit, and at that time, I believe Joyce Ship Friedman was sitting where Councilman Kentos is, and that criteria still isn't there. So there's no like hire or promotional criteria. I think we got rid of the hiring criteria also, and I think that's wrong for morale purposes. So we did this, right? I agreed to it. I was told that something was going to be put in its place. Here I am, whatever it is, 4 years later, 3 years later, whatever it is, and we don't have it. So what I'm saying is that funding formula should be part of this. And then the whole thing about the out-of-town people, because now it says 75%, if we have a ice hockey league, right, and everybody knows we don't have enough students here or children from Edison, so Edison and Metuchen do stuff together even at the high school level, right, they could never qualify for any funds because they won't be 75% Edison. They'll be, 50% Edison and 50% Metuchen, where Metuchen kids should get their money from Metuchen, and the Edison kids should be able to get their money from here in Edison. So that's another thing that I don't like about this here. It's really those two things. Other than that, we cleaned up the wordage and stuff like that. I think that's fine. Thank you.
Any other questions from council members? Hearing none, we'll have a motion. Oh, no, we'll just keep doing the work session here. Next, item 7, review of the council minutes from the work session meeting March 23rd, 2026, and the regular meeting of March 23rd, 2026. Any questions or comments? From each department. From the business administrator, letter A. Any questions or comments? From the Department of Finance, letter A, B, letter C, D, and E. Any questions or comments? From the Department of Health, A. Any questions or comments? From the Department of Planning Board, A, B, letter C, D, E, F.
We're going to speak about F or something. We can do that? Is it like a public thing we're going to do? Presentation, something?
No, this is just,
During
it'll be open to the public resolutions, so they're going to, when we get to the public portion, members from the public can speak.
Okay.
And when you vote on it, you can also have council comments.
Okay.
Fair enough? Okay, any questions from A through F from the Department of Planning and Engineering? Number 12, from the Department of Public Works, letter A. Any questions or comments? From the Department of Recreation, letter A. Any questions or comments? From the Department of Water and Sewer, A and B. Hearing no comments, moving to the Chief of Police, letter A. Hearing none, we will now begin our regular meeting, which starting at 7:20. Members of the council, we're on item 16. First, the approval of the minutes. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve.
Get a pen here. You just stole my pen. Okay, can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. New business, proposed ordinance, public meeting, hearing set down for Wednesday, April 22nd, 2026. Clerk, read ordinance.
An ordinance amending Section 5-5 Sports Organization Funding of Chapter 5 Revenue and Finance of the Municipal Township Code of Edison to modify.
No.
Can we table?
Have a motion to introduce. Motion to introduce the ordinance 227926.
We table it? Maybe in.
Table it?
A motion to table?
Yeah, I think if we table it, maybe we can get the stuff on the funding formula, or maybe, talk about changing that. Otherwise, I'm going to vote no the way it stands now, and I don't want to vote no, let's say.
Council President, may I?
I just for clarifying, and I understand where you're coming from on the formula. Do you want the specific formula in, or do you want something in the ordinance that says that there's a formula that's maybe adopted annually? Because that formula is probably going to need to adjust periodically, and I didn't. When I wrote it, I didn't want to pigeonhole us into only one way of doing it.
So the formula should be standardized and should be the same, and it should never be changed. And when I say never, right, every 10 years you want to change it, but at the end of the day, what happens with the formula, right, is you have A, and you plug a number in, and then at the end, you get an answer. Okay, so you're not changing anything. The only thing that's changing are the sports leagues and how many children are coming and how many children are going. So let's say like football, as less and less people join football will get less money, right? And as more and more people are joining soccer would get, more money. And it's so it's constantly changing every year.
Yeah.
And the administration, for their budget-wise, it shouldn't be. I don't think we'll have a league that's going to come in and say, we have an extra 3,000 kids this year, so that they go, we have a budget problem because of it.
So I just want to correct for the record, though, the funding mechanism, the amount of the funding has always been the same, as long as, I've been here and prior to. So the funding amount didn't change. To your point, the mechanism which it's calculated, as you know, you worked on it, 51% of residents needed to be accounted for in all of these leagues. So there was a number, which was 51%, in addition to maintenance of fields. So, and we talked about that. There is no issue with providing it with the formula. The issue, though, is that we still need to adopt an ordinance to then establish, to Aaron's point, if you want to reintroduce every year, what that funding mechanism looks like, based on the 75%.
Well, what I'm saying is that funding mechanism, that formula, I'm going to call it a formula because that's what it is. You're just going to plug in their answers into it. Should be incorporated into this. And Aaron, just so you know, if we didn't eliminate the promotional criteria, if I didn't hear from people like in the town saying they're not happy with how we do our promotional thing, right? I would say okay, but I think I made a mistake by voting yes to get rid of the criteria under the presumption that we were going to do that, and then it never happened, right? Yeah. So as a mechanism to make sure that this funding formula happens, if we table this, right, the administration, they have 2 weeks to just put the formula in.
No, I'm just I'm asking clarifying questions so I know how to amend it so I can kind of better get where you're
and the formula itself, just so you know, we had one. If the administration, wants to change some of the numbers or something, I have no objection to that at all. I'm just looking to have something concrete so it's not arbitrary and capricious for whatever money gets doled out. That's all.
No, it's clarifying, and I understand and it's clarifying for everybody else too, that they understand this is how we.
Well, this is where I go, right? So all these leagues, believe it or not, they count on this funding. Whether we give it to them, like right now they're dying, right? Because they thought they were going to get it, whatever, in November, and here we are, right? So we're approving that tonight, and I'm sure that's going to take a relief for them, but they were counting on that as part of their budgets that they make. So it's kind of difficult. So if they know how many kids they have, they know about what they're going to receive, and then they know what they have to charge the parents on top of it. It just makes better management from the league's point of view.
Just a point of order, just to move forward, can we have a meeting for Rich to relook at this ordinance between now and the next meeting so we can reintroduce it?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's on you, just so you know, as long as you have a formula, I'm more than willing to kind of go along with it. I'm leaving that one up to you, what the formula actually is. I just want to see part of it so that there's something in concrete, that's all.
Sure, it's pretty, let's just tell you, and we'll schedule something. It's pretty straightforward. It involves maintenance of fields as well, because you have some leagues that maintain the fields and some we maintain.
Right, some do more work.
And we have to take that into consideration.
Madam Clerk, we have a motion from Rich on the table to motion. to table. Can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilmember Brescher?
Yes.
Councilmember Dima?
Yes.
Councilmember Kentos?
Yes.
Council President Coyle?
Yes. Okay, so the 2279-2026 has been tabled, and this is just an amendment to the sports leagues. However, for those who are watching right now, the sports league funding is on the agenda today, so I'm confident that'll be approved, paying you for the last term, so that payment's happening today. Moving to public comments on the resolutions only, I'm going to open up the public portion for the resolutions only. Those who are here for the first time, or the public who's watching, this part is for resolutions only. The comment is public is speaking on. Please come up. I didn't see you back there, too. Jeez. Okay, fantastic.
I knew there was only two of us. Elizabeth Conway, 20 Netherwood Circle.
Welcome.
I'm questioning the resolution 176-042026, where you're awarding payment to the nonprofit organizations in the amount of $224,975.50. My question is this awarded to them for the functions of the league itself, or will it also be deemed necessary to upgrade anything necessary for an organization? The thing that I'm questioning is I drive past North Edison baseball and softball. Those numbers are grossly down from years past. And you're talking about the funding right now, so I don't know how that will be affected. But this past weekend, the front that actually faces Oak Tree Road and Maryland was filled with cars, and it was grass. And I know last year when I was there, the blacktop was in complete disarray, and I don't know whether that was fixed yet, but I don't know who owns the property in the front now that's grass, or was it handed over to the township? But if it is over to the township, will something be done about that? Now, that's a big dollar figure to repair that property's blacktop and land. I'm presuming that's not in this $224,000. And as far as any other league, we're talking about funding of the actual organization. Even though the numbers are down, the organization has to function in order for the children that still want to participate. When my children played, there had to be over 1,200 boys and girls playing. Now, last I heard, it's below 400. But it's still the property that needs to be maintained, and the costs are even more expensive than they were back then. So how will we fund both the organization and keep the land upgraded to a proper status, was my question. And I'm done.
I'm not going to wait till your time is up. Do you have any other questions?
No, I said that's my one question.
Okay. First, we're not going to comment. We're not going to make any comments on funding formula now. We just tabled that, and that these resolutions and the questions you've had are not part of this public portion. But the questions you do have, as far as each sports group getting money, yes, that's happening today. That's based on the old formula. And if the organization was functioning at that time and they filled out the application process that was at that time required and met the criteria of what that resolution and ordinance was prior to this, they're getting funding today. And that's listed in this resolution today, who's getting funding. Okay, so that's the only questions I can answer today for that. But in the public portion, we could discuss other questions you have, which is not part of how we improve fields. Each organization functions on their own to do some of their maintenance of theirs, but that they can discuss that later. That's all I have.
Council President.
Council President, oh, go ahead.
Well, I just have a question, and I don't have the answer to this question, but I think this is where Ms. Conway's going. So the organizations run themselves, like you said. we don't really have input into what they do. But we have, like Shamrock Field, right? That was funded by the township. We built that for whatever it was, 1.5 million or something like that. The Shamrocks became defunct because children can't play football because of head injuries or whatever it is. That land now is the township's land, right? And we're charged with maintaining it, I think, right? I think we cut the lawn at this point.
If it's ours, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think it's township property, so then it would revert to us when they're no longer using it or they can't afford to maintain it. And then we repurpose the land like, well, we haven't repurposed Shamrock Field yet, but I think people are thinking about that. That's right?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry.
Yeah, I just wanted to remind everybody that this is a donation. That this money that we give the organization is a donation. Once it goes in their hands, they're free to do what they want with it. We have no control over what they do with it. It's one of the things I don't like about this formula. To me, here, I'll just say it, this formula is a mess. I don't like the program at all. I'll say yes to anything for the youth, for sports, for kids, for education. But what's going to happen is once we put a solid formula in place, we're going to have a line out the door of organizations popping up saying, hey, I have 100 people who play. Look at all the people that play pickleball now. Look at all the new sports. We're going to have every different organization out the line. And then about the $220,000 that we give out each year is going to have to go up for all the other organizations to survive.
And I just, thank you.
No, I know that's not one of the questions that was asked. I just wanted to point that out to everybody, that there's a lot more problems here than what meets the eye.
And I believe the clerk is pulling some data for us. We're one of the few towns out of 534 municipalities across the state that make any donation to sports leagues. That means any donation. So it's something different that's been done in the past. We continued as a council here. It's been under my vote for the last 11 years. So we'll see how the new formula will change, and I think the council vice president will be happy when it comes together, but there'll definitely be some changes. Okay, moving forward, that was the comments on resolutions. Do we have any other members of the public? Sure, please come up. Just on the resolutions only.
Ron Loeffler, 6 Nancy Circle.
Welcome.
I'm here today to speak on Resolution 178, the affordable housing, to ask the council to partly revise the ADU portion of the plan before adoption to allow for the mechanism to include the RB and RBB zones in the ADU section. I spoke last week at the planning board regarding the same to ensure as this plan moves forward in the future, there should be clarity as to the intent. Homeowners in all of Edison are in need of ADUs, including what they were originally designed for, to accommodate the aging population so that older parents can live with their children, seniors can age in place, or the need for additional income. By only allowing ADUs in the RA zones, primarily one side of town, the outcome would be that only one side of a town should be allowed to age in place, and also not allowing the RB zones to build ADUs, the economic utility, the potential increase in property values. I don't believe any of the zones should be exempt, RA or RB. As the planners who made the presentation at the planning board noted, they discussed garage conversions, which they were already built. They would just have to modify it, whether it's a single car or a double car, and a lot of properties already have the room.
I'm sorry, I apologize. Some of this is
A lot of the
being
properties
discussed.
already have the room to build 400 square feet ADUs. And then a question, so that, if instead of passing it, maybe have that change made and then pass the housing portion once you modify for RB zones. So in the third round obligation settlement, there was a deferment of 610 units from 2025 to 2035. Does the fourth round obligation settlement take this deferment into account? Or is that an additional amount that will be required from the township? In other words, does the settlement for the fourth round obligation satisfy both the fourth round as well as the deferred third that's owed within the same 10-year period? So, my question, and that's
Okay.
my comment.
We actually have someone here that worked on this right behind you. Sonia, do we give him this microphone? I guess he can speak and testify like anybody else does, right? Yeah, if you don't mind, any other questions you have? First, Ron, I'm fully support the ADU opportunity. I just, at this particular time, I'm trying to wrestle with how the language should be in for that, and I'm not prepared, but I do agree with you. So you're going to come up? He's going to take
Or is that way it's?
a soft seat? Okay. Sure, well, they're going to take it from there. Go ahead. I normally don't want to treat another lawyer this nice, giving him a nice seat. No reason why he can't stand. But, go ahead. I'm sorry, we'll refer to you. And Ron, he had worked on this pretty strong. You may like him at the end of this, you may not. So far, I liked him, but the jury is still out.
Good. Counsel, it's good to be here. Christopher Zingaro of the law firm Rayno, Coughlin, Mancello. I specifically work on affordable housing litigation and compliance, and I've been working on the township's efforts to meet its obligations for the fourth round. I have two specific responses to the comment. Let me just run through, for the benefit of the public and the council, just the basics of where we're at in this part of the process.
If you can just answer the ADU part.
Let's get to that part first.
That's the only question he had, and he's been involved and has been a caretaker in affordable housing, so ADUs is what he wants to hear about.
Sure. So the ADU component is a part of your plan for how you can achieve compliance going forward. There's no specific zoning that's incorporated into this plan at this time. It's identifying that this is one of those mechanisms, and there can be consideration down the road of what specific ways you incorporate ADUs into your zoning map, whether that's the extent of that project. So that's going to be something that's fleshed out over time, and there's neither a zone that's excluded or included in this specific document. The second part is the question about the carryover. So it's correct that in your third round, pursuant to your third round settlement agreement, there was a carryover of 610 units from the third to the fourth round. It's a little bit complex, but the approach that's taken in this document that's laid out is the 610 units becomes part of something called unmet need. So what we've done is we've identified what the court's obligation is for the fourth round period, which is 727 units. Then there's a vacant land adjustment, where you basically look at what developable land still exists in the township, and you bring down you develop what's your affirmative obligation. What do you really have to plan for? And that number comes down to 231 units. What's left over is called unmet need. You got to address in some way, but it's less of an affirmative component of your obligation. In the case of the 610 units from the third round, because there's not enough developable land, that unmet need mechanism is added on. The 610 carry-on is added into your unmet need, and it's what exists going forward. As affordable units are constructed in the township, whether it's through ADUs or other mechanisms or other redevelopment projects that come into the sphere of possibility over 10 years, that will chip away at your unmet need. But that 610 is accounted for in the plan.
Counselor, will there be a shot at the plate later to amend this and add ADUs to it? When and if?
So what this plan does is it creates the ability to use that mechanism, and there's certainly a chance to craft that zoning in the future for sure.
People mention when this unit is created, who has the chance to live there? Can I have my mother-in-law live in there, or is it who decides who lives in that ADU?
Yeah, so it's a common misperception that if you participate in this program and you deed restrict your ADU unit, that you can simply rent it to anyone you want. It doesn't work like that. If it's an affordable unit and you have the benefit of building that, you have to go through the procedure set by the state. You have to affirmatively market that unit, not just to Edison, but across the region, which means that you are not the person who selects who your tenant is. It's an aspect of the ADU process and the regulations that are currently in place. But you cannot simply turn around and rent it to your mother-in-law. It doesn't work like that in the affordable housing context.
And depending on the piece of property, what's stopping a resident from just building an ADU? Is it set by us that it must comply with affordable housing? Does the person have the option? Do we have the option?
So we have ADUs laid out in the master plan, but the ordinance was never put together. That's what I was talking about Sonia with earlier.
I mean,
For a
I guess-
regular resident to do it.
does anybody ever have a shot to have their mother-in-law live in the backyard?
So,
Well, or she live in the house and maybe the son-in-law lives in the backyard.
so you're going to have there's always an opportunity to craft an ADU with multiple layers. You can have ADUs that have an affordable component. You can have ADUs that have non-affordable components. So that's something that you can develop over time. So there might be an ADU that doesn't have any type of zoning attached, any type of affordable housing requirement attached to it. Those options are out there. If you create the opportunity to use ADUs as a mechanism to capture affordables, that's the way you're going to get state credit. You don't get state credit for these units unless you meet the state regulations.
Okay, but we can still change the ordinance. Okay. Is that, Ron, are you happy with that so far? I mean, I will work with a few council members and find out when everyone's here who is in favor of ADUs. I certainly am. And we'll hopefully have a chance to have another swing at the plate. Is that fair, Counselor? We'll be able to amend this at another time?
That's correct. The crafting of those ADU zoning, that's something that can take place into the future.
Okay. 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 Thank you very much, Counselor.
Okay.
Well, you may just want to stay there for a minute in case anybody else comes up. Don't get comfortable. Anybody else from the public like to speak? Seeing none on the resolutions, we're going to motion to close the resolutions. Motion to close the public portion on resolutions.
Motion to close.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Members of the council for the resolutions. Anyone would like to pull a resolution starting from my right? Councilmember Brescher.
176 and 178.
Any other, Council Member Dima?
No.
Council Vice President Kentos?
No.
Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda without 176 and 178?
Motion to approve?
Can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilmember Brescher.
Yes.
Councilmember Dima.
Yes.
Councilmember Kentos.
Yes.
Council President Coyle.
Yes. Okay, so to my right, Councilman Brescher, 176.
Yes, 176, right, sports funding. I'd just like to thank the administration. You guys told us at the last meeting that you were going to make sure you had it on this agenda. I know the leagues are really stressing for it, so I appreciate you guys getting that together and getting it out there for us. So thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to say thank you too, so I don't get killed in the parking lot.
I actually was surprised that I didn't receive as many phone calls as I expected. But I think a lot of it has to do with what we've done over the last year with the sports fields and improvements to our parks and building a new rec center and turfing the Jets field. I think we certainly have met some opportunities to get there, but even though it's late, but it's being done today. So without fail, is that a motion? Councilmember Brescher, do you have a motion to approve?
Yes.
Have a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, roll call on 176.
Councilmember Brescher.
Yes.
Councilmember Dima.
Yes.
Councilmember Kentos.
Yes.
Council President Coyle.
Yes. Councilmember Brescher, 178.
Yes, 178. This is a similar type thing. I know our law firm has been working on this for quite some time, and I appreciate, everything that they've done here. I believe this is actually a pretty good scenario for us to move forward with. I do agree with my council colleague that certain aspects should be looked at, but I think that's more like planning board kind of stuff, than it is for us for the affordable housing. But how they went about this and how they laid it out, very happy with what their proposal is here. So thank you very much.
Councilman Brescher, have a motion approve?
Yes.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, roll call on 178.
Councilmember Brescher.
Yes.
Councilmember Dima.
Yes.
Councilmember Kentos.
Yes.
Council President Coyle.
Yes. Okay. We're going to open up the public portion for oral petition remarks. For those who are watching, this is the point where you can speak on any part of a resolution or anything from the public. If you're in the public, you have 4 minutes to speak. Please come up. Any members of the public that would like to speak? Yes, please come up.
Elizabeth Conway, 20 Netherwood Circle. My question before was the funding, which I'm totally for, is for the funding of the actual organization. But the property that these groups are on actually belong to the township. And would the township be responsible for paving, and I'm just using that as an excuse, for paving the lot at North Edison baseball and softball? Because there's no way that could be considered in the $224,000 that the leagues need to literally function day to day, was my question on that, which I didn't hear an answer to.
I can only answer this, what I know, which is, and I don't mind doing it back and forth. Some of the fields are owned by Edison Township, some of them aren't. Like earlier, Councilman Brescher mentioned the Shamrocks field, for instance. The county actually owns that, and we have an agreement to cut the grass over there.
Right.
So we don't actually own it. As far in the past, and I know this from when I was a kid, normally if the township paved like the parking lot of like the sports area or the area for parking by the field, that was an agreement between the organization and the administration. Hey, can you guys get this paved for us, even though we may not own the parking lot? That's how that was done in the past. Again, I don't have a list of the fields in front of me and who owns them. I know various ones in the south end. I don't know a lot about the ones in the north end. Haven't looked up the deeds in a long time.
They do need it. The second item is the school budget that was brought up by the president. That was a preliminary budget, but many people were at the board meeting last week and they were appalled at what was going on, because we knew it was going to happen. Because if you say we don't need to tax the people, then that means we don't need the money. So the state turned around and said, well, if you don't need it from the taxpayers, then we don't need to give you all of it. We're going to hold back some more. The only thing I fear is in the past, the town council got involved and cut back on the Board of Education budget. And that was really hurtful that year. I want to say 2008 maybe? They cut back, I want to say $9 million, and that hurt. So I'm hoping that that will not happen. But as I said, it's only a preliminary budget. Hopefully they'll work a little bit better and work it happier to the residents. And the third thing that I'd like to bring out is we keep talking about, overdevelopment in the town, and that just doesn't seem to be happening. If you have ever driven on Wood Avenue, and there's this humongous, I can't even call it a McMansion because it's so big it took over 3 lots in order to build this property. Well, now, all of a sudden, if you go down Wood Avenue, now there's another property where it looks like it's just 2 little homes, but they're putting in 3 new homes in that spot. And I'm just leery about allowing the overdevelopment that's still continuing in the town. And I'm hoping that if you have any influence, that you would look into it, because there's things going on. Like last month, it was Thomas Place, and now I see something on Wood Avenue, and we're just continually adding on and on and on. On Sunday, I went to Bayonne for Easter dinner, and Bayonne was always, it's Hudson County, but it's outside. You used some of my time. So they weren't as built up as, say, Hoboken or Jersey City. And I went there the other day, and it's just outlandish, the number of high-rise apartments that are being allowed to be built. And all I could vision is Amboy Avenue looking like that. So if you have any influence at all, we don't need another Hudson County on Amboy Avenue. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Council Vice President?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Just to your point with like the school funding, I think your statement has a little bit of like a misnomer in there, where that if we don't raise taxes, the state's going to remove money from us. The state has a funding formula. They're required by law to give us what that's in that formula is. What they can do is they can say we only have enough money for 80% of all the funds in New Jersey, and then every district should get 80%. What happened in the past was they didn't. Nobody did the math. Edison was shortchanged for 20 years, okay? So in this round here, where Edison's shortchanged, the superintendent needs to, and our schools, we have teachers, they're math teachers, they have PhDs. They should be able to figure out the math equation, right? But they need to compare those to make sure everybody's being funded fairly. If it is, then unfortunately, yes, we're on the hook for it. But if not, then they need to do like a class action and set that up with the state and force the state legislature to come up with the rest of the money and pay us. They can't spend money, so like they couldn't charge us a 2% tax every year and then just take that and squander that. That would make us like Norcom, Perth, Amboy, right? Just coming up with projects to do. So I think they've been very frugal for 5 years, and I'd like to get to the bottom of this, and I hope the superintendent's willing to, go that extra yard. I know there's a lot of pressure on the board members, right? So I'm pretty sure they're going to ask the superintendent for this, because I'm going to actually Oprah request this information, not as a councilman, as a resident that my taxes are going up, right? So yeah, we'll get to the bottom of this one. Right.
Enrollment is down. It's in. I got a lot of calls about this, and I'll say it here because I said it to a lot of people who called me. They're like, "How can enrollment be down?" And I give my example, right? Over the past 5 years, I've now have 4 kids that are not in the Edison school system no more, and I'm not going nowhere, and no new kids are coming into my house. I can assure you that. So I'll be here till I'm dead, and there's going to be no more kids in my house.
Well, right, and that's something the school board has to come up with.
Right.
Right? Like where maybe they have too many administrators at this point. That's something for them to come up with. But right, at the end of the day, I'm just looking for that formula to be done.
Okay, thank you, council members. Okay, we have any other members of the public that'd like to speak? Seeing none, can I have a motion to close the public portion?
Motion to close.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, council members. Thank you, members of the public. Report from all council committees, 21. From my right, Councilmember Brescher.
None at this time.
Councilmember Dima.
I have my animal shelter report here for the month of March. Adoptions, 32 cats, 20 dogs. Reclaimed, 9 dogs. Currently in the shelter, there are 19 dogs, including 1 that's on a 10-day hold, 59 cats, 1 chicken, and we are holding 6 dogs, 4 cats, and 1 cockatoo for the resident that passed away. And that's it. No rabbits, just 1 chicken.
Council Vice President Cantos.
Yeah, for what do you call it? I met with the Open Space Committee this week, but for all my committee reports, just go to robertkentos.com/committees, and you can see all my notes and things there.
Great, fantastic. And as far as my committees at this time, I have nothing to report. We're going to move to 22, points of light. Any members of the council have any points of light to report? Okay, seeing none, we're going to move over to the discussion items for number 23. Councilmember Brescher.
None at this time.
Thank you. Councilmember Dima.
None at this time.
Council Vice President Kentos.
None at this time.
And I have had a few on here which I addressed with the administration, and there's nothing at this time to speak of. You heard from affordable housing, so I'd have nothing at this time. So can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion to
Can I
adjourn.
have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. This meeting adjourned.